We are live. Cool. We're going to get Brandon Pearson. He's going to be right where that white box is. And we'll be set to go. Let's go, Brandon. Okay. So hold on a second, guys. Pretty sure we're live right now. This is, yeah, it's looking good. Hey, go ahead and call me on Skype. Should work. All right, there you are, man. And we are live. This is happening. Shit. Finally. Woo. All right. Hold on, I can't. Audio. Okay, let's do this. This is what we're going to do. We got the video. Let's crash this whole thing. How about now? It's really, really low. You know what? It's the Skype.
How about now?
Oh yes, that's whatever that was that did it.
It was muffled.
Oh, got it. Okay, sweet. So again, guys, everybody, so sorry about that. Like, this is our first podcast. We're finding out so many things right now. We definitely should have a team. If you're going to do your own podcast, make sure you get your own team, because this is just the amount of wires and audio mixers and things that you have to have in place is ridiculous, man. Not one fucking person should have to do this, but we're doing it. Fuck, we're doing it.
It's definitely a mess, but here we are. My name's Brandon Pearson. I am standing here in my kitchen making a protein shake because I'm trying to get them gains, yo. And,
yeah.
We are RedPIllStation. And here we go.
Yes.
All right, Tony, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, man. So RedPIllStation, basically, my name's Tony. Tony Scroggins. I work for a telecommunications company. Currently married, no kids, looking to get a house, and we are doing this station because, bottom line, there's a lot of things out there that a lot of people don't care about, and we want to get it out there in terms of awareness. I was big on one thing, man, and it was the craziest thing. I was probably I think I was a senior in high school, and I watched Braveheart, and I'll never forget what he said in Braveheart. It was actually the first scene, I think, where he says, "I shall tell you about a man named William Wallace." Historians from Scotland will tell you that I am a liar. You remember that part?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Where basically they tell them in Braveheart that historians will basically tell you that I am a liar, but history is written by those that have hung heroes. Now that tells me a lot, right? Like anything that we've heard, everything that we've listened to, it's all subjective. Like it really is. Like it's crazy. You never know what's true, what's false, what's been changed, what's been written and taken out of the history books. But
that sucks because we're hidden from the true from truth and knowledge, and history is written by the victors. That being said, hey Tony, do you have is your video broadcasting right now, or is it just your audio?
It's both.
I don't see your video.
No, you're not going to see my video.
Oh, okay. Do you see mine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why can't I see yours?
You got a bro hat on. You got green in your room. So it's weird. Oh, honestly, you can't see mine because there's an issue right now with Skype. In the beginning, if you notice, like when we go live, and all of a sudden it's just me for like a good minute or two. The reason why is because the Skype, for some reason, it's trying to reconnect the call, and I don't know why it's doing that, and it ended up just cutting out on you. It was the weirdest thing.
That's a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so,
let me get situated here. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the first topic then. So we've introduced ourselves. Well, first and foremost, what we are, RedPIllStation is we're just. It's just mainly consisting of me and Anthony Scroggins. I'm Brandon Pearson, by the way. I'm not sure if I introduced myself. We're just a group of loosely knit together individuals of open-minded knowledge. We seek knowledge ourselves, knowledge that's unconventional, that would be uncommon, stuff you don't really hear about talked, very common among people. It ranges from a wide variety of things that we talk about. It's heavily in conspiracy theory oriented subjects, all the way from the occult to regular modern science. We could talk about metaphysics and how they from anywhere from like lesser magic to metaphysics to conspiracy theories to the Anunnaki to Stonehenge to ancient aliens. And the list goes on and on, and that's basically what this podcast is going to consist of. And we're going to blow you away. And here we go. Mm-hmm. So go ahead, Mr. Scroggins. Why don't you go ahead and get started, and we'll go from there. We'll go ahead and continue explaining a little bit more of who and what we are throughout this podcast, as this is our first run. So.
Exactly. And pretty much just let people get like a rundown of like our shows and premieres and stuff. So basically our timeline, the way it's looking right now, is we're probably going to be doing this maybe weekly. And for now, though, we don't have the full setup. Like, honestly, if you go to our Instagram page, it's just the camera. It's just the speaker. I'm in a little tiny room. I got fucking all my food in this little storage back here. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is all I have. Like, that's it. So when it comes to this, we're probably going to do like maybe one more show, but our premiere is going to be December 23rd. We're going to be doing a Christmas special, kind of talking about the history and the origins behind Christmas. And a lot of people are going to like that. And so bottom line is we don't have the whole setup yet, and we are going to get that. It's going to be really professional. It's going to be really lit. We're going to have everything put together. For tonight's show, we're basically just going to touch on what happened in New York. And really, we pulled this show because November 4th, it's kind of like an emergency podcast. And on November 4th, we have what I guess they're calling, I mean, I don't know why I want to say a day of rage, but it's pretty much Antifa is going to be doing protests. And these protests are going to be going until Trump and Pence are impeached. So this is wild and just interesting to me, just because of the fact that I don't know how they're going to accomplish this. First off,
they're not.
Right?
Well, a lot of it's going to be kids that are living at their parents and they don't have jobs, so they can maintain this perpetual protest, which isn't going to be perpetual for very long. You know, it's mostly a bunch of pubescent kids that are screaming for attention with their transgendered bullshit, who are going to be out there protesting and autistic screeching and whatnot. But I don't think it's going to go very long, because they tried that before with the Occupy protests that first started back in, like, what was it, 2012, 2013?
Yeah. We are the 99%.
Yeah, we are the 99% thing. Actually, I actually partook in the Sacramento Occupy protest back in 2013, I think, or 2011 or 2012, and they started that out in Manhattan or in New York when it first started, and they were trying to keep it a perpetual protest for as long as they could, and they said, "Oh, this is going to keep going until, you know, everyone's woken up and what we need accomplished to get accomplished." I think it actually lasted for like 2 straight weeks. I could be wrong. I have to research this.
There's so many people.
But it did last, like, for as long as protests consistently go. It was very, very long. Because they only last like 1 or 2 days tops, and this one was like a week or something. And people, they were setting up camps, and they were setting up like small little communes to keep the protests perpetually going. But it did eventually end within a week or two, I think. And I think that's what they're going to try and do with their little November the 4th thing. But it's deeply misguided, and it's full of a bunch of attention-seeking pre-pubescent libtards from, you know, their liberal arts colleges. That's what it consists. It doesn't consist. It doesn't consist of like the actual open-minded, like badass original Occupy protesters who were woke and fighting, like, out there protesting the real issues, backing up Ron Paul and standing up for what Ron Paul had to say, and basically protesting for what Ron Paul was standing for at the time. And it was a heavily anonymous influenced as well, like a lot of Guy Fawkes masks and everything. Go ahead, Tony.
No, it's interesting because I haven't seen Anonymous actually support Antifa. That's another thing too. I haven't seen a single video out there. If someone does, please post it on here, but I have not seen them actually support this whole movement at all. Like,
I haven't seen anything from Anonymous in like a year.
That's
in
interesting.
Like a straight year. Have you heard anything from Anonymous in at least a year? No, nothing.
No, the only thing I might have heard was, I think somebody posted something about anti-Antifa, like Anonymous is not Antifa, and just kind of saying like, we are Anonymous and we haven't been on for a year. But you could tell the guy's like not Anonymous though. It's weird because he's kind of just stating like, people have been asking why Anonymous hasn't been here for the year, so I decided to make this video, and this is like weird. I can't get that pulled up right now. Hopefully I'll be able to pull up links on here while we're on this fucking test run. While we're on the subject, I mean, it's called refusefascism.org. It's funded by George Soros, and for all those of you who know who George Soros is, that can't be a fucking good thing. Soros. Right?
Doesn't he think he's a god?
Well, because of the fact it's not that he says that, it's the fact that he claims 100% atheism. So because of that, I mean, and the fact that he's in the position that he's in, people are saying, well, this person who doesn't believe in a god believes that he himself must be the influencer here on this planet. You know what I mean? So, but bottom line, you know who everyone pretty much knows who George Soros is. If you don't, just do some small research on him. You'll find out. Huge investor. That's how he made all his money. I mean, the guy is ridiculously smart. He's brilliant. I lost you on the video, by the way.
I'll be right back on the video. Just a moment.
All right, no worries. But if you look here, I'm on the website right now. It's pretty crazy. If you were to go to the website, what you'd see is the nightmare must end. The Trump-Pence regime must go. Protest beginning November 4th. Oh my God, they got a donate button. Didn't Soros just fund $18 billion to these guys? Not directly to these guys, but to movements like them. Join the movement.
How much money does George Soros have at his disposal? Because it says that his net worth
26
is only
billion.
His net worth is $8 billion. That's what Google is saying right now.
To be honest, I typically don't know what net worth is like, but I do know that his company has 26 billion. So he's pledged 18 billion. So it's not like he's given it away. He's just pledged 18 billion to all these organizations. The crimes against humanity, the Trump and Pence regime. Terrible crimes against humanity. Let's see. Millions start with us. I mean, this is crazy, man. Carl Dixon, Huffington Post. Why confronted Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones? Now we actually know the reason why he kneeled. The Trump-Pence regime must go. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept the fascist USA. It's just so interesting. When Trump's in office, now everybody wants to fucking scream and yell and jump around. Let's see here.
Yeah, I feel it. Oops.
But yeah, this is it's crazy, man. Like, it's some of the reports I've been hearing is that Antifa members, and again, these are just reports. Like, for instance, they're saying that, like, in the places that they're doing the protests, like in Berkeley, obviously I think Berkeley's their headquarters. Berkeley, New York, different other locations, a lot of gun stores are being robbed. Some people are actually calling on social media to actually bring guns. They're passing out knives. That's been confirmed. They're basically saying, you know, we're going to get violent and we're going to make sure we get what we want within the time. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's pretty. I personally don't think nothing's going to come of it, but if it's as hard as what they say it is, and they're serious about it, I just don't like them due to the fact that they cover their faces. Like, that's just, to me, that's cowardly. But I don't know.
I like how their Antifa, anti-fascist stance is being completely contradicted with what their proposed actions are going to be on the 4th. If they are going to riot, like, with arms and knives and weaponry, then, like, fighting fascism, they just going out there and being crazy, that's fascist in their own right. They're so anti-fascist that they're becoming fascist themselves.
Well,
and they're acting like in fascist ways.
If you disagree with them, if you disagree with them, they throw a brick at your face. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
that's fanaticism. That's fucking zealotry.
Ultimate fascism is just ultimate power, and I just think it's crazy that they won't let anybody have an opinion. They won't let anybody. I mean, even if they suspect, if I were to go there with like the way I'm dressed now, they wouldn't mess with me because, well, partially because I'm black, but then also they wouldn't mess with me. But if I were to wear an American flag on my shirt, just an American flag, or God forbid I wear a fucking Trump hat, but if I were to wear an American flag, I mean, they're gonna come and fucking jump me, like, and say, you know,
make America great again, make America great again,
bring him on down. Yeah, man,
bring him on down.
Oh, that's crazy, man. But hopefully nothing comes from it. I mean, that's the reason why we're doing this emergency podcast, is because of the fact that we don't know what's going to happen November 4th. Again, I'm hoping nothing. I mean, here's what's really disturbing. This is what's really disturbing. They're targeting police. On their forums, they're literally targeting... If you're protesting, police are there to make sure that that the protest goes the way you want it to go. And those are the people you're protesting? That doesn't even make sense. Like...
Yeah. Why are you attacking the police? That's not what you're there for. You're supposed to be anti-fascist, and now you're acting super fascist.
Right.
You're pushing your anti-fascist beliefs so far, you're becoming fascist.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts, man. It blows my mind. But I mean, again, hopefully nothing happens. If on November 4th, if you're in one of those cities, and you can go to the website where they'll basically show where they're doing their events at, and basically like, hey, you know, if we're near a city near you, come out and support us or donate to us. But if you're in any of those cities, just be careful. Don't go out there. Like, there's going to be a lot of shit going down. And I personally, when it came to this, thought that there was going to be a catalyst before this, because if they're planning on impeaching the president, just pretty crazy. But if they're planning to do that, I told myself, there needs to be a catalyst. There needs to be something that just gets a fucking fire lit under everybody's ass, that just says, you know, we got to get out there. We got to do it. And I almost thought what happened in New York recently was that. Because at first when it happened, and what's kind of sad is it happens so frequently, I literally told myself, wait, is this the Antifa? Are they doing it? Like, is this it? Is this the catalyst? But then I thought to myself, it's probably just a wannabe ISIS member. And sure enough, that's what it was.
Yeah, some jackass.
Right. Which was crazy. Where were you when that? Like, where were you on 9/11? Where were you when it happened again? I was at work. 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 I was at
in my lab working, making drugs. Oh, by the way, what I do for a profession, Anthony works at a telecommunications company. I work for a private pharmaceutical company. I'm a pharmacy technician. I help compound pharmaceuticals for animals and for people, anywhere from suspensions for animals to hormone creams and pills for human beings. That's what I do. Anyway, but I was at work in my lab making hormones for people when they spoke about it on the radio, and I was like, oh shit, what is going down? And then Emma texted me right after that, and she said, terrorist attack in New York. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, explaining it to me. And then I went and explained it to my pharmacist and everybody, and they were like, what the hell? Yeah.
Right. And it's so sad, man. I teared up when I saw the bus and I saw those kids in there. I was like, what the like, asshole. Like, well, actually that bus was used to stop the truck, supposedly, though, after the reports came out. He actually used the bus to stop that guy. And then he got out and then went crazy. And they thought, it's funny because the first report said that it was a gun, but it was a paintball gun, and it was a pellet gun that he actually had.
It wasn't a real gun.
Yeah, it wasn't a real gun. And it's so sad listening to some of the people that were getting interviewed, and like some of the ladies that were just like this one lady was like, oh my God, he came up to me and he pointed at me, and then she just like choked up because she wanted to say like I was gonna lose my life. Like, it was so sad. But, I mean, these are all acts of terrorism, which is crazy that Las Vegas wasn't labeled as a terrorist act. I think if anything terrorizes people and makes people fucking run for their lives, that's terrorizing. Like, it should be labeled terrorism, regardless of who it is.
But he was a white guy, so it can't be terrorism if it's a white guy.
Yeah, you know what? I don't agree with that. It definitely should have been labeled as terrorism, regardless.
Yeah, it absolutely should have been terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
It's insanity. They just said he was some disgruntled, mentally ill man. Like, dude, if he was an Arab, it would have been 100% a fucking terrorist attack in the eyes of the news.
Well, let's talk about that. What does labeling do? What does saying it's a terrorist act do? Does that change anything? What does that do?
The fact that they're labeling it as a terror attack automatically instills fear into the hearts of the public.
So it's more,
and they use fear to manipulate the masses.
So I think it's more about an Arab agenda. I think it's just more about there's an agenda against Arabs to basically make them out as the boogeyman, I guess you could say.
Scapegoat.
Right, and I think. It's touchy, but you have to be logical about what happened in New York, because I don't like when you're watching, the media out there, like especially CNN, when they're sitting there and saying things like, well, today in New York we had 8 people killed and over dozens injured, and then that's the headline. That's it. When it's like, no, that was actually a radical extremist. Like, that was actually. That was a radical extremist. Like, why can't you say that? Why is that so hard for them to say? In this situation, it really was that. And then they're going to scream Muslim phobia. I know they're going to start screaming that, but honest to God, he was yelling, Allah Akbar! Like, he was yelling that. Like, yeah. Like, that's what's crazy. He was doing it for that reason. So, yes, this was a typical Sunni, keep in mind Sunni, Muslim attack. Like, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Was it so? It was a Muslim attack. Was it? Damn it! How am I going to say this? Is any large group or religious faction or anybody like that claiming responsibility for the attack, or is this just one fanatic?
It's one fanatic, but here's what's really interesting. Who really knows? I mean, bottom line is ISIS has lone wolves within the United States. I was talking about this like a year ago on my Facebook, and they have a lot of lone wolves out. I don't think I talked to one, but I mean, there's a few that I know that are just kind of like pro-ISIS, and I get why that they're looking for a caliph. It makes sense. I mean, but guys, like, your jihad is not to kill, like. And my father's Muslim. Like, I have Muslim family members. Like, it's not, it's nothing against Muslims, but there is radical terrorism out there, and people need to recognize that. And I think it's crazy that the news is dismissing that and just saying, well, it was just an attack. There was no. They don't even bring up the fact that he's Muslim and that he was doing it for ISIS. I mean, here, I'll pull this up right now. Hold on real quick. So if I pull this up, do you see that picture right there? That was taken. Oh, you actually can't see it, but I actually texted it to you earlier. That picture was taken probably a month. I actually have an informant that actually can get into the dark web. He actually knows where the ISIS website is. Under that ISIS website, he was actually able to pull up this picture, and the timestamp, I believe he said was dated like in October. So it's interesting that where this picture is taken here, this is the same road that he actually used to basically go and run down civilians. Like this picture and this road was done before the attack. So yes, this definitely was an ISIS attack. It definitely was pre-planned. And the guy carried it out. I mean, even though he would, in my opinion, he did a shitty job. I mean, he's still alive. He's in the hospital bragging about what he did. I mean,
I thought they killed him.
No, they didn't kill him. The guy that shot him. I mean, honestly, in my own opinion, every time I talk about police shootings, good officer shot him in the fucking leg, shot him right in the top of the thigh, and then the guy's down. They took him to the hospital and he's alive. But I think that's how you should diffuse a situation. You see, the guy was so weak looking the way he looked. I mean, he just shot him. He took him down. They put him in the hospital, and bottom line is he's in there. He's bragging about what he did, and he's again restating that this was for Allah. This was for ISIS. Even on their website, they're bragging about it on their website, basically saying that this is what Americans deserve. They were calling for these attacks actually before it even happened. They were actually asking people to do attacks on the 31st. Just kind of weird, It ends up just turning Halloween into Groundhog's Day. It's really sad. But
yeah, it sucks. It sucks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that your friend sent you that picture from the dark web,
right?
Or the deep web. The deep web, rather. I think it's more important that we refer to it as the deep web because the dark web gives a negative connotation.
Right. Dark web is actually different. It is the shit I've seen on dark web. I don't want to talk about on this show. YouTube will probably kick me off, but yes, it's crazy.
It's rather negative.
Mm-hmm.
But the deep web, in general, is all encompassing of the whole thing. And on the deep web, his friend got where he found that photo of
you can get it online. I'm pretty sure you can get it online now. You should be able to Google search it by now. People have already. There's other people that picked that picture up too, so you should be able to pick that picture up.
For sure.
But
okay, well, anything else on the subject, Anthony?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, again, we're just doing this podcast to basically get everybody to have some awareness about November 4th and what's going on. If you guys are in those areas that are basically doing the protests, please be safe. Stay indoors. I mean, just order pizza, do some Netflix. Like, don't be out. Like, let these idiots go out there. Let the cops deal with them. I mean, people need to stop. I mean, and honestly, don't even spend your breath on these Antifa members. I mean, again, they're George Soros funded. This is to divide the country. There's a reason behind that. We will get into that deeper on the other podcast because there is an ultimate goal. There is a plan, and Antifa is actually part of that plan. It's crazy. And you people that are Antifa, I have a message for you. You're being used. If DJ...
You're cutting out. You need to repeat that. You're cutting out.
If DJ Khaled was here, he would say, you played yourself. Antifa, you played yourself. Okay? Y'all played yourself. Period. Stay home. November 4th. I mean, how do you fuck that up? Isn't it remember the 5th of November?
Yeah, they fucked that up. I don't know if they were trying to play towards that or they were respecting it and they didn't play towards that. So
Jesus.
But if I was going to have some kind of big protest, I'd probably do it on the 5th of November.
Right? I mean, I don't know, man. But that's pretty much
people.
Exactly. But yeah, man. So hopefully, hopefully this was enlightening for some people. This helped out some people to kind of realize a little bit about what's going on. Hope this helps you out. Again, our other shows, they're going to be a lot more organized. We're going to have a lot more information, and they're going to be a lot more centralized on the subject. This was just to basically, again, give awareness November 4th and introduce ourselves. And honestly, bottom line, do the shit because we just needed to do this. So.
And if anybody has any questions or comments about us in particular or the show in general, feel free to leave us comments or send us messages or voxes or email us or what have you. And maybe if you have some very interesting, good input, we'll have you on the show. Other than that, just hit us up and tell us what you're thinking.
Cool. Awesome. I think that's it. Awesome, guys. Well, take care, and we'll see you guys next time.